In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to get started with Google Analytics, what to look for, how to use it specifically for content marketing. So some of the things that we're going to go over in this video is number one, I'm going to show you how to find your UA code and how to connect your website to Google Analytics. So how do you even get started with Google Analytics? Then I'm going to help navigate through Google Analytics so you know where to go to find certain pieces of information. So you can use this as a guide on where to find things because Google Analytics can be a little bit overwhelming. Then I'm going to show you how to create a dashboard. So if you have some common pieces of information that you need to find again and again, you can add them to a dashboard so you're not constantly needing to go and find them. So those are the three things we're going to cover in this video. So let's get started. So if you don't have a Google Analytics account, our first step is going to be to actually go and sign up for one. So all you need to do is search for Google Analytics in Chrome or whatever browser you're using, and then just click on it, set up a new account. You're going to need a Gmail account for this one. It'll ask you to put in your URL, domain information, what type of website it is, and then they have a really good wizard for finishing that all the way through. The process is quite simple. So that is step number one, is going through that process and getting set up for a brand new Google Analytics account. Now we have to actually get Google Analytics set up to talk with your website. So if you happen to be using WordPress, my favorite plugin is Monster Insights. It's very simple. I just basically want a place to put in my UA code plus some reports, some easy reports here. So all you need to do is go into plugins, click add new, search for Monster Insights, install it, and then activate it. And then once you're ready, you'll come down to settings, and this is where we're going to put in your UA code. Now, where do you actually go to find that UA code? So here's where you go. So once you set up your Google Analytics account, it's going to look a little bit something like this. You may not have any numbers yet if it's a brand new account, but where you go to find that UA code is go down to admin in the bottom left-hand corner, and then you're going to go to property settings, and this is where you can grab that tracking ID. Then all you need to do is copy and paste that and go and paste it into this section here of the Monster Insights plugin. Now, if you happen to be using a different type of website, you can just simply search how to add Google Analytics to insert your type of website here, whether it's Wix, whether it's Squarespace, but this will get you some really specific instructions if you're not using WordPress. This is a good step to do. There's so many different tools to use. Now, once we have your Google Analytics account set up, the next thing that I want to show you is just kind of a tour of Google Analytics and where to go to find certain information. So as you come to your home here, it's just going to give you kind of an overview. This is one of my sub-sites, so it's not a super busy site here, but it's basically just giving you some high-level overview of different demographic information. But this isn't actually the information that we're going to find. So I'm going to walk you through. The first place I like to go is audience. And I like to go to overview here because this is going to show me just kind of some of my basic information. So this is going to show me how many visits my site had, how many users. So these are the unique visits to my website within this time frame. And the other thing I want to show you is up in the top right-hand corner, you can actually set the date. So you can go for the entire month of August, or you can go for the entire year, whatever you want to do there. But here we have the number of sessions. So this is the total number of visits. Number of users, this is the unique visitors to your website. Then we have page views, so the number of pages that have been viewed within this time frame. Number of pages per session, so this gives you a bit of an average. The average session duration, so this is how long people on average are spending on your website. Then we have the bounce rate, so this means when people come to your website, it explains it here, but if they arrive on your website and they leave right away and they don't go to another page, that counts as a bounce, and it gives you a percentage of the people who are like, bouncing out of there or leaving right away over the people who are maybe seeing multiple pages or going to a second page. Number percentage of new sessions, so how many of these were new users versus older users. So when you're doing kind of a basic analytics report, we want to just make sure that these traffic numbers are growing to make sure that your content marketing efforts are paying off. And so we definitely want to know the number of unique visitors and then the total number of visits. Those are the things I look at. And then I also look at bounce rate to know how sticky is my content. So are people going to a second page? And also average session duration can be really helpful too. So this is what I look for in the audience overview. You can get a lot more technical within all of these, but these are the main things that I'm looking for. So next up, the question I get is, where did my traffic come from? And that is where we go to acquisition here. And I'm going to take you to overview. And here is where we can start to see what were the sources of traffic. So it's still going to have that time frame that I put here, but you can change that. What we want to know here is how many people came and where did they come from. So direct means they clicked on a link to get there. Referral means that somebody else had a link and they came there. Organic search meant they searched for it. And then social media meant they came from social media. So you can actually click in here to get a bit more information. So you can actually see here the links that people clicked on to get here. You can also see, if we go back to overview, if you go into social, it'll show you the actual platforms that people clicked on to come to your website. So it gives you a lot of information. So this can be really helpful. So if you are trying to decide what social media is worth it, you can go into social media and see, I'm spending a ton of time on Instagram, but nothing is coming from Instagram. It's all Facebook. So this can tell you where to put your effort in terms of marketing. So it can be a great way to help you make some strategic decisions about your marketing. The other thing that it can tell you is it can tell you like what is being the most successful source of traffic for your website. So when you are doing your monthly content measurements or your monthly marketing measurements, this is definitely something that you want to check out. And so this tells you the number of sessions, but it also tells you the number of pages. So it gives you some more information and you can click into it for even more details about the number of sessions, number of users, etc. So the next place that I look at is I look at behavior. So this is where I want to know how many people went to a specific page. So we can go here. I go to behavior, site content, and all pages. And here is going to tell you me my most popular pages, but I can also search for a URL here. And so I would just search for, so you just search, you don't add in any of the slashes, just put in, or the main part of the URL, you can just search for that piece and it's going to show you, it'll pop up here, anything with that in it. But then you can see within this time frame, the number of page views, the number of visitors, the bounce rate of that page. But it just gives you some really good information of what pages were most popular. You can also do this for your blog posts. So you can see what blog posts were most popular. Another thing that's interesting, so say that this was a sales page. It's not, it's a membership page. But if I clicked into here, I would be able to see even more information about it. But what I like here is we're able to do a second dimension here. So if I wanted to know what the traffic, where that traffic came from, I could click on second dimension, acquisition, and then I want to see the source. So that is then going to break down where that traffic came from for this page. So I'm seeing some of it came from direct, some of it came from Asana, ClickUp, Trello, and I can see the actual breakdown of where that traffic came from. So the secondary dimension feature is a really handy feature as well. You can also look at this in different ways. So if you want to have a pie chart of it, if you want to get nerdy with a bar graph, you can do that way as well, or just go back to the original. Next, I want to show you how to set up some dashboards. So if you have, say, a weekly measurements that you collect or monthly measurements, I think it can be really helpful to put all of that information into a dashboard. So you don't need to go and look for all of these links, but you can just go to a single place and we can actually have it email you regularly with that information. So what you would do here is come to customization and dashboards. You can also play around with some of their provided dashboards here. I like to create my own for the specific purposes. So what I'm going to name it is I'm going to name it, say, monthly measurements, and I'm going to put that it is a blank canvas. Then I'm going to go import from, or I'm going to go create. So it's going to create it here. So now I need to add my widget. So the first thing that I might do, like I said, on a monthly basis, I like to know how many visits I'm getting, how many total sessions. So I'm going to put total traffic, and I'm just going to display that as a metric, and I'm going to call that sessions, and there we go. So once I'm done here, so I have total traffic, I have the time it is, and then I have what it's measuring. Then I'm going to click save, and it's going to put a number there. And like I said, here's the date here, so we can also change that. Next up, I want to know how many unique visitors. So total visitors. And then total, I'm going to display that as a metric as well. And I'm going to call that users. So total visitors, the type of metric that I want it to display, and then show. Can also put in bounce rate here. You can also put in the average time per site. I'll show you how to do that. So bounce rate, I'm going to display it as a metric as well. And I'm going to search for bounce rate. Perfect. Then I'm also going to add in av time on site, display it as a metric. AVG, and we're looking for average session duration. There we go. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to add is we're going to add in the acquisition, so where traffic comes from. So I'm going to add a widget. I'm going to display it as a, you can either display it as a table or a pie chart, so you could do it either way. I'm just going to do it as a table, and this is going to be traffic sources. So here I'm going to put source, and then as my metric, I'm going to put number of I'm going to put sessions here. I'm going to keep 10 rows, and I'm just going to add that, and it'll show like this. So it's going to show me where my most popular traffic sources are. Next up, I'm going to add in the most popular pages. So page views. I'm going to also do that as a table. And then for dimension, I'm going to have pages. I'm going to just select page here. And then that's going to be that first part. And then the metric is going to be sessions. And then I'm going to save that. Now, say that you wanted to add a view of visits to a particular page. This can be really helpful if you are setting up a funnel. So you might have the widget title being like, I might do YCYE visits. I'm going to display that as a metric, and I'm going to show the number of users. So that shows me the unique visits by showing me how many users there were. And then I'm going to add a filter. So only show. And then this is going to be page. And then it's going to be containing YCYE. Or if you have a more specific URL, you can add in like dot, like whatever it is for you. And then I'm just going to click save. And then that's going to add it here at the bottom here. So next up, say I want to customize this. I want to put how many columns there are. So let's say I wanted to do, yep, that one's good. And I'm just going to drag these around a little bit. So I wanted to have that there And I wanted to have that there. So you can organize this afterwards. Next up, you can share this with people. So you can share a link, you can share an object. I like to set up an email for myself. I like that you can download this as a PDF, but I like to set this up. So maybe send myself yourcontentempire.com. And since these are monthly measurements, this is going to share monthly on the second day of the month. And advanced options, you can put how long it's it for. And then let's actually just change one thing. So let's go last month and then apply. Perfect. Okay, so then let's share it. So rather than constantly showing us August 1st to 31st, it'll show us, and we'll say monthly, we'll say on the 2nd of the month, I am not a robot. Here is the monthly analytics report for campus.yourcontentempire.com. And then this will email it for me. So I don't even need to go into Google Analytics and find this information beyond this first time. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope this helped you navigate Google Analytics a little bit more effortlessly. There is a lot of information at your fingertips when you sign up for a Google Analytics account, and you definitely don't need to be monitoring it or looking at or finding all of it. It's all a matter of finding the pieces of information that you need, and the pieces that we've gone over are the most important elements for you to be monitoring as a business owner using content to grow your business. So let me know if you have any comments in the bottom or want more tutorials like this one. And thank you for watching.